Yes.
Can I ask a question? Like, do the doctor knows this patient before?
Yes, it's a suburban clinic. The patient's name is Bob.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Okay.
Let's go 5 minutes. Hello,
Uh,
doctor.
Hello. Good morning, Bob. How are you doing? How are you feeling today?
I'm all right, thank you. Uh, yes, yeah, doctor. Yeah, I've had a problem in the last few months. My mother-in-law basically was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease,
I see.
and she's now staying with us. And uh, we just don't know what to do with her, basically. And I run a very good business, and I make a lot of money, and I'm very successful. But it just I can't sleep at night, so that is my problem. I was wondering if you can actually give me some sleeping tablets, because I can't go to work the next day. Uh, when I'm awake all night, then
I see.
basically I'm very sleepy the next day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand your concern or what you are in, Bob. Um, are you is the your mother-in-law staying with you longer? Is she gonna stay with you longer?
Yeah, definitely. I think she's gonna stay with us forever, and I just can't get it out of my mind, and I feel anxious all the time. I can't sleep.
I'm really sorry to hear this, and I know that you are busy at work and with your kids too. On top, you have this problem. I can understand the extent. So, how long do you sleep at night time? Can you tell me about your sleep patterns? At what time you get
Oh,
to bed?
okay. How long I said? Well, I sleep probably 1 or 2 hours only.
Oh, just in the middle of the night. At what time do you go to bed?
Well, we usually go to bed at 11, but then I can't go to sleep. I keep rolling in my bed, and then even if I go to sleep, I wake up after a couple of hours, and then I can't sleep till morning.
Okay, can you tell me more about yeah, you say that you wake up in the middle. So is there any noise or anything you hear from your mother-in-law? Does she wake up?
Uh, no,
Tell me.
n-
Yeah.
no, no, not usually. I mean, she usually sleeps at night, but this is just a thought that we have to deal with her forever. I don't know. I just don't know what to do.
What do you mean? Is that the stress?
Yes, because
Stressed about it.
yeah, I keep thinking about because she's going to get worse, doesn't she?
Okay, I got you now. So, you asking for sleeping pills now. You didn't manage
Yes,
with
yes.
your root cause.
Anything to help me go to bed and sleep at anything that helps me sleep at night. Yes.
Yeah, you can understand it. But Bob, the sleeping pills are not the first remedy to give you for your sleep because they have their own risks, that.
What do you mean by risk, doctor?
Okay, so taking them would make it more, you have to take it more sleeping pills. So you asking me that to start those drugs, yeah? Those
Uh,
pills.
yes, to just help
How
me sleep.
long do you want to? Yeah, that's the problem. You cannot stop them just when
Uh,
you want it.
what do you mean? I cannot stop it.
Because the more you take the tablets, the more you have to increase the amount because you start with dealing the problem with pills. Rather, I would recommend that you start with, the sleep hygiene. Do you know about that? Sleep hygiene and your environment, making your sleep environment more restful. Have you tried that?
Well, my environment is okay, but what do you mean? You mean I'm going to get addicted to them? I'm
Yeah,
not that
that's what.
kind of person, doctor. I'm not an addict. I just need something to help me sleep.
Oh, let me explain that. I don't mean that you are addict or you're taking them. The problem is with the pills nature. That's what I mean. They have that nature.
Uh, but
Have you got? Yeah.
what about now? I mean, what can I do now?
Yeah, let's see that because that's why I'm asking you more about your sleeping environment and your routines, daily routines, so that you can try the natural rhythms and routines to focus to get that rest and the proper sleep. Okay. And the other thing would be that I can suggest that you can go to the counselor or psychologist, arrange there so that you can get the management for stress too. Because you're telling me that you are stressed, yeah?
Yes. Uh, okay then. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, okay, I'll do that.
If I'm clear with these things, it's very important to arrange any kind of consultation with them, with the
Okay.
psychologist or counselor.
Okay.
And the peace wouldn't be the first thing to start with. Rather, as I've told you earlier, to start with your sleeping environment
Okay.
and getting rest so that you can care yourself more, the techniques and
Okay.
data participant.
Okay. Okay. Let's do
Yeah.
that then. Right. So how do you feel?
A bit, yeah, on and off because we first started, it was okay.
Hmm.
But later you challenging me with those speeds. So I have to explain. I have to take time explaining about the sleep pills.
Okay.
You
Did
should
you
have been the other side, the other side, because you were the one requesting about the sleeping pill. I should have asked it. That's what I was thinking.
okay. So do you think you were hesitant or you didn't know what to ask next or
Yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah.
okay. So basically you were lost, you were confused. Uh, so that's why you didn't have any structure, you know?
Yeah.
So if you have a structure, then you won't be lost. You know what you're doing, and I mean, basically, you have to manage the consultation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, so management skills. Now, um, let's before we go there, let's have a look at these. Did you have an initial interaction properly? Greeting, introduction, nature of interview. You did these first two. I said about the nature of interview. I didn't allow you to ask me how can I help or anything. I started saying
Mm-hmm.
what the problem is. Demonstrating an attentive and respectful attitude. So you listened, okay? Adopting a non-judgmental approach. Uh, okay, so. Showing empathy, you did, okay?
Okay.
Eliciting and exploring the patient's ideas, concerns, expectations. Did you do that?
Mm, partly.
Partly. You just elicited,
Yeah.
okay? Uh, you just identified the patient expects a sleeping pill,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Why? Because he thinks that's the sleeping pill that helps him,
Yeah.
okay? And then you started to explore. You said, have you tried sleep hygiene? Or you could have said, instead of that, have you tried anything else? Have you thought about any other way of
Mm-hmm.
helping you sleep? Okay. And how much do you know about sleeping pills?
Mm,
Okay, so yes, you elicited, but you didn't actually explore enough.
mm,
Picking up on patient's cues. The patient was angry because of the patient thinks that he's an addict.
mm.
Okay, that was a cue. Okay, so you need to pick that up. Oh, you should say, no, I apologize. I never meant that, and we don't mean that. And it is just a possibility, and we have to remind the patient, or we have to warn the patients about that. And I will tell you more about this later. So, relating explanations to elicited ideas considers expectations. So, if you don't explore them enough,
Mhm.
you cannot relate your explanations enough to these. Okay, so you need to explore enough to be able to relate your explanations. Sequencing the interview purposefully and logically, you didn't. You tried, but then you lost it. You started well, then in the middle you got confused. Signposting changes in the topic. Well, that is what you definitely didn't do, and that is what you need to do to structure your um,
How
consultation.
could I have done this? Let's take the scenario. So it was in the middle, he was angry.
Hmm.
So how can I take him back to signposting and
Okay, so yeah, we will discuss signposting definitely. Using organizing techniques. What are these organizing techniques? What organizing techniques do you know in your explanations?
mm, to go back to the question he asked and checking that?
Hmm. Um, okay, we will talk about that as well. Um, Indicators for information gathering, facilitating the patient's narrative with active listening techniques, minimizing interruption. So while I was talking, you didn't actually say, okay, right, uh-huh, okay. You didn't say that, did you?
I was saying, okay, I took long even the first moment, not
Okay,
later, but in the initially.
okay, so that's good.
Yeah.
Using open questions and then moving to closed questions. You started with good questions. You said, well, what is what is your sleep pattern? And right, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you actually used a compound question. You said uh, you, you said what is your sleep pattern and how do you sleep, and yeah, so you asked three questions at the same time.
Hmm.
And I just said, well, and then you clarified. You said, what time do you go to bed? And then how long do you sleep? So you started to ask open questions, which is very good. And then you said, okay, then is there any noise or anything, which is good. So you did the questioning well, but yeah, you did ask one compound question, which I don't recommend.
Okay.
Clarifying statements which are vague or need amplification. Well, good. You did that. You said, so, oh, now I got it. So basically, you asked more and you said, okay, what is it that you're worried about? And then the patient said, well, it's because she's going to be here forever and she's going to get worse.
Mm.
And you say, oh, now I got that. Okay, so you actually clarified. And summarizing information, you didn't do that. And I always recommend you to do that because that is a very good structuring point.
Okay.
Also, it helps you get to the part of the consultation you are at. Okay,
You can
basically
do that at the middle, you mean? At the middle of the
anywhere, whenever you think you're lost, summarize.
okay.
Okay, because that helps you.
Yeah.
Um, right. When you summarize, it means you have some time to think where you are and where you're going. Okay, the patient also can clarify or can explain or can correct you. They understand you have been listening to them.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so summarizing does a lot of things, and it is structures. Information giving. Did you say how much do you know about sleeplessness, or what else do you know about uh, sleep, sleep problems? You didn't actually say that. You just said, have you heard about sleep hygiene? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the patient knows, and maybe he has used that before.
Okay.
And so you just basically, when you say sleep hygiene, you're saying that no, I'm not going to give you the medicine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's too abrupt. The patient gets angry. So, well, I, this is something I came here to get sleeping pills, and you're telling me about sleep hygiene, which
Mm-hmm.
any stupid person knows about sleep hygiene. And I've done that. Okay. So basically, we need to first say, okay, have you thought about different ways of dealing with this problem? And he says, yes, I've tried sleep hygiene. I've tried some over-the-counter medicines for sleep, and they didn't work. And finally, I asked one of my friends, and he said sleeping pills would be very helpful. Okay. So pausing periodically when giving information. When you're giving information, you need to pause and say, "Is that okay? Would you like to know anything more about this, or is that all right?" Okay. Encouraging the patient to contribute to reactions and feelings. Now, respond to the reactions. It gets angry, you need to deal with it then. Okay. You cannot go to the next part uh, unless you actually show a proper reaction and say, "Oh, I really, I'm sorry if you, um, if you felt like that. I didn't mean anything about addiction, or I'm not. I don't mean anything about you personally. This is just what we need to do as doctors. We have to warn the patients. Okay, this is our responsibility. This is our job." Uh, Checking whether the patient has understood the information. Well, obviously you didn't, because the patient didn't understand that you're saying, um, and you didn't check it with them, that what you mean by not prescribing sleeping pills and with the potential addiction or dependency. Checking whether the patient understood, discovering any further information the patient needs, and you didn't say that. Yeah. Okay. Now, uh, so. Uh, so what do I mean by giving a structure?